Good blessed Monday evening, January the 30th, 2023. It's about 3:55 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you are the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like anything that I say, do, or anything I produce on social internet. That's your prerogative. You have that right. Today, what I want to talk about is, first I want to say happy 37th birthday to my oldest daughter, Jennifer, and she's now my oldest child alive. Anybody remember my oldest son, my oldest child, was found hung in Carbondale, Illinois. Me and my daughters, we are still fighting to get justice. They said suicide. We said homicide, stage suicide. But what I want to talk about today is I hear a lot of these high-power attorneys and high-power civil rights leaders like Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton, and a lot of other ones, NAACP, National President Derek Johnson, and some of the presidents in St. Louis, Missouri, and some in Jefferson City. They speaking about police reform. You see, because of the death of Tyree Nichols, may he rest in peace. May his family get justice. For there's no question of doubt that that was a brutal murder by people that we supposed to trust, people that's supposed to serve and protect. You know, just like they saying that they got rid of the deactivated the Scorpions unit, you know, and got fired 5 police officers. They just recently, because people, even me myself, complained about what about the other people was out there. One white guy, you can see his hand, but you never see his face, tasing him when after they took him out the car, and tasing him when they caught up with him. And then he used a name saying that something to the effect he called him a bastard. But anyway, they got rid of these police. The sheriff department unsuspended 2 of their deputies, and the fire department suspended 2 of their paramedics. But you know, it don't just go back to them police officers in the Scorpion unit. You see people coming forward now that's speaking up. Some people are afraid to speak up. But that chief of police need to get up out of there too, even though she getting all these people out of there. But let me show you why it ain't really police reform. What it is, we need more leaders. We need more attorneys that's gonna step up for people like me, that's fighting for justice here in Charleston, Missouri, with the things I'm going through with the chief of police here and some of his police officers, and what I'm going through with in Carbondale with the mock death investigation of my son in Carbondale, Illinois. You know, we don't have me and people like me. We don't have people like Benjamin Crump or the NAACP speaking up for us. But let me show you a prime example. Now, on January the 21st, 2022, some young guys was out in Charleston, Missouri, throwing eggs at people's houses, kicking their screen doors in, kicking their doors in, shooting paint guns, shooting flares and things at their house. They didn't like the fact that I videotaped some of it and showing some of them coming down the street. And then they made statements on my YouTube video, first telling me to take that S down, which I didn't, or I'll be next. Then they even came on to say that they would get my truck, egg my truck, and kidnap my daughters. And they said a lot of other things on my YouTube video that we seen as threats. And I'm going to show y'all better than telling y'all. But I called the police twice. And the two police that respond is one of them named Brent Douglas. Now, Brent Douglas was a police officer here in Charleston, Missouri once upon a time. He's one now. But he left and went to East Prairie, Missouri with an officer by the name of Mark Higgins, who Mark Higgins went down to East Prairie, Missouri and became the chief of police. And he took Brent Douglas with him and made him a captain. But after his term was up and was time to run again for Chief Higgins, Mark Higgins, his dispatcher ran up against him and won and sent Mark Higgins and Brent Douglas right back down here to the rejected police department. And everybody on here ain't rejected, but most of them, 90% of them, are not legitimate police officers, nor are their chief of police. And I'm going to show you why. Now, I'm going to read you something that one of the officers that's legitimate, Wes McDermott, I flagged him down, I think, on the 23rd of December, telling him about the attacks on my house. And then I told him about some of the individuals that we found out was a part of the attacks. Now, he went down, and I'm going to show you what he went down to do. Now, you remember, Brent Douglas and the other officer name is Kirkendall. Kuykendall. Both of them responded twice. Once on the 21st of December, I think it was kind of late at night, and then on the 22nd of December, it was kind of late, early in the morning, or late at night. But let me show you. They was the responders. I told them about the threats, and Kirkendall said that he went down to the police station and looked at my YouTube videos, and he seen these individuals shooting flares at me and my daughters when we was chasing them in the car, and seen them shooting them at my house. But yet, Brent Douglas, the two responding officers, 2 times in a row on the 21st and the 22nd of December of 2022, didn't write no reports. Still ain't no reports today. Now, that was December. And I went down to the city hall and spoke to the city manager on January the 3rd and explained to him about they not only didn't write a report, but they didn't have it. Chief Hearns didn't put it, Robert Hearns didn't put it in the newspaper. But let me show you the only one in the police department did their job. This is what you call if you look at it, it's called a Charleston Department of Public Safety field interview. It's not a police report, and you can see who it's by. It's by Wesley McDermott. Now, let me show you what McDermott did. He did his job. He wasn't a responding officer to this thing, but I told him about the 2 responding officers, so he put something together so he could go back to the police department and add on to the 2 police officer, Brent Douglas, a former captain. We see why they sent him back from East Prairie from captain to a officer. And we see how they sent the chief of police, Mark Higgins, from East Prairie back to Charleston as a police officer. And I'm asking that Chief Robert Hearns be removed as a chief, because this ain't my first complaint on him. Now look at this here. An officer that didn't even respond. He didn't even come to the scene of this incident. And this is, he said, on 12/23/22, I was flagged down at my address. I called in the DPS communication and had an incident started for a request to speak to officer. This person flagged me down is known to me as Raymond Lewis Ivy. Ivy was giving me some information about some possible suspects that had threw eggs and shot a flare at his house on 12/21/22. Ivy told me that he had already reported it to Officer Kirkendale and Officer Douglas. Ivy also mentioned that several others had eggs thrown at their property. Now, let me see. Ivy advised me that I would add this information to report he had already made. On 12/24/22, Ivy requested me to, this is West McDermott, to speak to him again. This time, Ivy had some additional suspects' named to give to me. There was, and I ain't gonna say their names. Now, this is the Officer West McDermott. I was unable to locate any report or other documentation that I could add to this information to. I had DPS Communications check incident notes for 12/21/22 and 12/22/22. I located that Ivy had made calls to DPS, the Charleston, Missouri Police Department Communications, on both days. These were 12/21/22 at 1300 hours, which would be 11:13 at night on the 22nd. Let's get this other one here. And the other one was 12/22 at 2500 hours, and that was 3 o'clock in the morning. The incident number is for the first one, the incident for the 21st, the incident number is 1176874, Douglas and Kirkendall. Then the incident report for 12/22/22 is 1176877. Now, when I talked to the city manager and asked him why wasn't any reports made by Douglas and Kirkendall, that was on the 3rd of January. He got my phone. He told me to give me my phone number. He was going to call me back. Today is the 30th. What's that, 27 days ago? And I hadn't heard nothing. So I went down there and asked one of the people at the city hall, can I speak to the city manager? I went in, we familiar with each other, and I explained to him, I said you was going to call me back when you talked to Robert Hearns and see why these officers did not only make a complaint, a police report, but why it wasn't in the newspaper that crimes had been committed against me and my property. He said, well, I talked to Robert Hearns, and Robert Hearns told me the reason why it is because if it ain't a crime been committed, then they don't do it. And I explained to him. He said, do you have pictures? I said, yeah, I don't only have pictures. My security cameras. You see those? My security camera. What better can you get but security cameras? You see what I'm saying? And then he said, well, I'm going to talk to him again. I said, what if I went to throw eggs and shot flare guns at Robert Hearns or your house? Would that be a crime? And he said, yeah. So he going to talk to him again. But see, he shouldn't only talk to him. The man should be fired. Because if he said what happened on here, and I'm finna reenact it by showing you all the video, if he said these is not crimes, then what are they? And let me tell you, one of the individuals that I gave him the information on, that they didn't write nothing down as it didn't happen, guess what? He was just arrested about a week or two ago for stealing some auto, either a car or four-wheelers from out of Cairo, Illinois, and tried to break into somebody's house in Wyatt. Now, had they did their job, West Montgomery did his. But City Hall done failed me and my 2 young daughters. This ain't the first time they failed them. But I want y'all to look at these threats, and I want y'all to look at these YouTubes and tell me if Robert Hearns, Kirkendall, and Douglas don't think those is crimes. They don't need to be on the police department. That's why you got people like them 5 police that beat Tyree Nichols to death. That's why you got people like that. That's why you got people, police, like the ones that did to Michael Brown. You see what I'm saying? The Charleston Police Department need to get rid of Robert Hearns, Kirkendall, Douglas, Mark Higgins, and some more of them. Carbondale, Illinois need to do something too, because it's a lot of stuff that they did that was underhanded with my son's death investigation. And then black folks and people that's being victims, that we can't get people like Benjamin Crump, and we can't get these high power NAACP presidents to come out and speak for us. We as people, black and people that's being used, misused in our community and afraid, and we can't get these lawyers or leaders, we need to do it ourselves. We need to get out here and protest ourselves. Teach our kids how to be leaders. Check these out. Put the arrow on them. Y'all see them? They'll come out in a minute. You'll see one of them throwing eggs. You see the flashing? Then you'll see them throw eggs, and then one shot a flare towards my house. This go to show you some of their parents know they ain't at home, know what they doing, and what they need to do is lock the parents up too. That's what they need to do, because the parents unseen what they've been doing. Y'all see that? You see what they're doing? See that light? What they lighting? That now they finna shoot it towards my house. You see the one coward called himself a mafia throwing eggs. You see the other one just shot the flare. But you see what these cowards doing? They running because they know what I told them if I caught them what I was going to do with that belt. But when I went outside and got in my car to try to chase them down, they ran through them projects. You see what I'm saying? But we got a good idea from the other pictures that we had in the daytime about 2:48 of this morning, or this afternoon, or this afternoon, of who it might be or who it is. But I'm going to go outside and show y'all what they did, but I want to show you what happened afterwards too, if I can find it. If not, I'll do it later. But these individuals call themselves mafia now, y'all. You see the time? Same time they struck at these other people's houses. But one thing about it, me and my daughters, we stayed outside. But one thing about these individuals, somebody letting them run in their houses right over in this area. You know one thing about me, I'm not afraid to die. I stand up to these individuals just like I stand up to corrupted police, just like I stand up to anybody else. But that's me and my daughter going back around, and at this time we actually spot them. And the cowards, they shot some at us. I think, you see how they shooting at us now? You see how they shooting them at us now? That's on Warren Street, y'all, right around where the lady house got shot up. But you see my car? I'm going through the grass chasing these mafias, y'all. These is killers, y'all. You see what I'm saying? But one thing about it, it ain't the projects. You see them? Y'all see them? Let me know when to go up with the... Yes, y'all see him? Now, check him out. Check him out real good, y'all. Look at the time. You see him, a coward. They mafia now. You see him throwing the eggs? Now, you see him running? But what I want y'all to do is see where they running to. So I know they live over here. Watch where they running to, y'all. They running to the projects on Gale Street, on Warhousing. One went to the right of Warhousing, and the other one went to the left into them projects, and that's where they was hollering at. So whoever live over there, they know they people running into and out here throwing these things. And I'm asking I'm coming here today is because those that don't know, y'all, most of y'all do know, my house was attacked with eggs and also with some type of fireworks, and I think that they were shooting some type of paint too, because I looked at my windshield here this morning and I noticed this on my windshield, and if you can see, it won't come off. You know, I'm gonna have to scratch it off. So it's something when I was chasing the individuals yesterday, the camera showed these individuals to be able to kidnap my daughter. Y'all got to be really strong, because my two daughters is more, what should I say, more responsible than all of y'all that took part in what you did to my house last night. You see, y'all said y'all the mafia gang. I ain't never seen a mafia gang. Y'all a comical gang. I ain't never seen a mafia gang run from a 65-year-old man after they done shot stuff at my house. I ain't never seen a mafia gang. How you gonna kidnap my daughters and you running from me? How you gonna kidnap my daughters? Because my daughters came out, even though I told them to stay in. This is the eggs from yesterday that they throwed, y'all. They boiled eggs at that. Y'all see it? See, they don't know. This can wash off. But when your heart stop beating and they can't resuscitate you no more, and I'm not saying I'm gonna do nothing to you. I wouldn't even care if somebody else did something to y'all. They threw some more over here. But now, if they were so tough and they said they're gonna kidnap my daughters, why was they running from us? Let me tell you why they was running from us, because they cowards. You see, we seen where they started off right there. Charleston Housing Authority. All right now. They started right there, and they couldn't figure out which one of them was gonna throw the eggs and which one of them was gonna shoot the fireworks towards my house. So one of the cowards got enough courage and stayed way over here and threw the egg. Instead of coming over here, you know why they didn't come over here? Because they seen what I was gonna do with that belt with they behind. See, they young, so I'm gonna just take a belt on them. You see what I'm saying? When I get tired of that belt, I might get an iron pipe on them. You see what I'm saying? But they ran, and then, see, they had to, when one of them was sneaking by this truck last night, you can see it on my video, when they ran, when me and my daughters and them came out, and they ran, 2 or 3 of them ran straight down there. That's a dead end. So somebody, somewhere, must have let them in their house. You see what I'm saying? And let me show you where the other one ran. See, they told me to take down my video, but I ain't took it down yet. You see what I'm saying? I ain't took it down yet. Hey now. Now, the other one ran all the way down there at the end. That's the dead end. We know he didn't run into to the cornfield. We know he had to go into somebody's house. So somebody know what they're doing. But it's all good, because we know majority of them. I'm going to end it like this here, y'all. What them young guys did to my house, what they did to my vehicle, you'll see my vehicle was damaged from a paint gun or a flare gun. You can see them shooting the flares at me and my daughters when we trying to follow them so we can let the police know where they was, which we told Kirkendall in Douglas that night. The record has showed it. We called them. Wes McDermott got it in his report. Why is he the only one and he wasn't a responding officer? You want me to tell you why? Because the police department, most of them, don't like me because I speak up against white supremacy, racism, corrupted police, and these sellout blacks that they have, like the NAACP here. You see what I'm saying? Lessica Lesby, Rodney Jones, and Arthur Cassell, Steve Betts, Floyd Wade, and some of these other sellout preachers and business people that help block people like me standing up against this corruption with this white supremacist and these corrupted law enforcement officials. If y'all don't like what I said, you see what I'm saying? Don't listen to me. Peace be still.